Hello, you're watching English News Bulletin, and now today's headlines.
Prime Minister Nguyen Tan Dung urges continued efforts in macroeconomic stabilisation at cabinet meeting. Vietnamese fine art and craft products introduced in Italy. More than 600,000 holiday makers flocked to Vietnam in November.
Prime Minister Nguyen Tan Dung has requested ministries and agencies to stick to the target of macroeconomic stabilisation while removing difficulties facing the business circle.
Addressing the monthly cabinet meeting in Hanoi on December 1st, the leader urged more joint efforts in implementing tasks and solutions set for 2014 and preparing for those in 2015. He requested tightened management of price and markets, as well as the endeavors in fighting trade fraud and counterfeits and low-quality products. The Prime Minister also stressed the implementation of strategic breakthroughs and economic restructuring in line with the transformation of the growth model. He asked the ministries and agencies to take the initiative in updating the public on the country's socio-economic situation, plus the party and state's policies and laws, thus contributing to consolidating the national great unity bloc. According to reports presented at the meeting, the country's socio-economic performance in November and the 11-month period has seen positive results in many areas. Inflation has been curbed, while the consumer price index drops by 0.27% month-on-month, and the industrial production index recorded a year-on-year increase of 5.6%. With the performance, the country's GDP is likely to exceed the set target of 5.8%.
Politburo member and head of the party Central Committee's Commission for Organization, To Hee-rua, has voiced his desire for further cooperation with Japan, especially in strategic fields, including high-quality human resources development.
The summit passed the Dakar Declaration and important resolutions that advocated boosting economic partnership in the French-speaking community. Along with the declaration, participants at the two-day event also approved a number of documents mapping out orientations for the French-speaking community's operation. The summit also committed to enhancing the role and position of the French-speaking community in the world arena and increasing its contributions to common issues facing international community such as terrorism, climate change and Ebola epidemic. The IOF elected Minister Nguyen as new Secretary General, while adding Mexico, Costa Rica and Kosovo as new observer members, raising the number of IOF members to 80. While staying in Senegal, Vice President Nguyen Tan Dung met with the presidents of Senegal, Cameroon and Mauritius, the IOF Secretary General among others, seeking to bolster bilateral ties.
The 15th summit of the International Organization of La Francophonie concluded on November 30th in Dakar, Senegal. Vice President Nguyen Tan Dung led a delegation to the event.
At a reception for Takashi Shiraishi, president of Japan's National Graduate Institute for Policy Studies in Hanoi on December 1st, Rua spoke highly of the cooperation in education and training between Japan and Vietnam. He stressed the potential for bilateral coordination in the field, calling for collaboration in other areas of both sides' strengths. The host asked the Japanese Institute to continue working closely with Vietnamese relevant agencies to effectively implement refresher courses for Vietnam's high-ranking officials. For his part, Takashi Shiraishi pledged to do his utmost to boost the cooperation in high-quality human resource development, contributing to deepening the Vietnam-Japan strategic partnership for peace and prosperity in the Asian region.
"50 Vietnamese enterprises are showcasing their fine art and craft products at an international exhibition in Milan, Italy. Let's take a look.
The event, which first began in 1996, is the largest international event dedicated to the handicraft industry.
This exhibition draws the participation of millions of visitors every year, and the Vietnamese booth always attract million fairgoers in particular, and Italian in general. The Vietnamese embassy in Italy has exerted efforts to make Vietnam's stand this year attractive, luring more visitors.
Along with handmade products, the performances of traditional long dress, áo dài, and lion dances also help feature a beautiful, hospitable, and peaceful Vietnam to visitors. This year's event will run until December 8.
The Vietnam Maritime Administration, in conjunction with the Central Coastal Province of Bà Rịa Vũng Tàu, organized a counter-terrorism exercise in Vũng Tàu City on December the 1st to ensure navigation safety and security.
The drill attracted the participation of marine police, firefighters, border guards, and health workers, with the observation of more than 100 representatives from seaport businesses nationwide. It is based on a fictional scenario of an attack by 10 terrorists who wear worker uniform to enter an oil and gas construction site. Being discovered, they used guns to threaten dozens of hostages and kill several to demand a ransom and transport for fleeing. Seaport authorities and anti-terrorism police take prompt measures to suppress the terrorists and rescue the hostages within 2 hours. The simulation aimed to review the implementation of international law on navigation safety and evaluate coordination between the maritime sector and the public security and military forces. The forces also practice cooperation in disarming bombs and mines, fighting fire and rescue work.
Over 16,000 people in Ho Chi Minh City and surrounding areas joined the 18th Terry Fox Run on November 30th to raise funds for cancer patients.
Vietnam has about 110,000 new cases of cancer every year, and over 73% of them die, one of the highest rates in the world. The number of cancer patients tends to rise, and the annual death toll from cancer amounts to 82,000 on average. This year's event was jointly held by the Canadian Consulate General in Ho Chi Minh City, the Canadian Chamber of Commerce in Vietnam, and the Municipal Union of Friendship Organizations. Terry Fox Run is a non-competitive charity event held annually in numerous countries throughout the globe. It aims to commemorate Canadian cancer activist Terry Fox, who made the Marathon of Hope run across Canada to raise funds for cancer research in 1980 after losing his leg to osteosarcoma.
Vietnam's garment and textile export value is likely to hit $24.5 billion this year, up 19% year-on-year, the biggest increase of the past 3 years.
The increase manifests efforts of the Vietnam Garment and Textile Group in planning production strategy and seeking markets in service of the city's development. The higher content of locally made products is also a main factor that has contributed to raising competitiveness of Vietnamese garments and textiles over the last decade. Local material suppliers have so far satisfied half of apparel producers' needs, including 2% of cotton orders, 1/8 of garments needs, and 140,000 tons of yarn a year. The government's efforts in negotiating bilateral and multilateral free trade agreements have also helped increase orders from foreign countries. The sector has currently focused on diversifying material resources while improving the competitive edge of its products.
Vietnam earned $45.8 million from tuna exports in October, up 16.9% against the previous month. The figure helps raise tuna export value in the first 10 months to $408.8 million, of which 64% came from the US and the EU. Other top markets of Vietnamese tuna include Japan, ASEAN, and Israel. Since July, excepting for September, tuna export has seen considerable growth, and the consumption of this staple is expected to enjoy a bounce back in the fourth quarter, which marks the festive season of EU countries. Last year, Vietnam's tuna exports to 112 markets were worth more than $526 million, ranking third out the country's major fisheries exports after charfish and shrimp. However, the industry faces challenges like the stricter quality and origin requirements, international organizations and consumers' demand for sustainable exploitation, and fierce global competition. Over the last 6 years, young participants of the Kids Sun Group, a division of the Hanoi HIV/AIDS Prevention Association, have worked tirelessly in an effort to eliminate the social gap between HIV/AIDS carers and the community. Thanks to their valiant efforts, many patients in the capital city as well as neighboring provinces have regained their faith in life.
This is an outdoor training session organized by the Kids Sun Group. Founded in 2008, the group now gathers 200 young volunteers coming from all walks of life.
What we hope to accomplish here is not to provide the participants with information only. Instead, we use games and questions that give them inspiration, making it much easier to deliver the information.
I have learned a lot from these sessions, especially those relating to HIV, hepatitis C and the LGBT community. They are really interesting and useful.
Through practical activities, the group has brought joy and happiness to those living with HIV/AIDS. Funds raised by non-governmental organizations have been used to conduct a range of activities like charity works and gift giving.
I'm very happy every time the Kids Sun Group comes. They always have fun activities for us to do, and they teach us a lot of things about life.
Activities conducted by the group have great impacts on HIV/AIDS carers, as they have cemented these people's faith in society and life.
The Kids Sun Group has continuously received awards for their humanitarian activities from the Hanoi HIV/AIDS Prevention Association and the World Bank. With the strength of youth and their unyielding dedication, these volunteers are slowly but surely closing up the gap of discrimination between the HIV community and the rest of the world, bringing them hope in a better and happier life.
The number of international arrivals to Vietnam in November hit more than 600,000, representing a month-on-month increase of 8.9%, but down 16.7% year-on-year. Data from the General Statistics Office showed that during the January-November period, over 7.2 million foreign visitors flocked to Vietnam, a 5.4% rise over the same period last year. China topped the list of foreign tourism market with 1.8 million arrivals, followed by the Republic of Korea, Japan, and the US. Other markets such as Taiwan, Australia, and Russia also recorded over 300,000 holidaymakers each. Vietnam expects to lose 7.5 million international visitors this year. The Huế Monuments Conservation Center will offer a variety of promotions to visitors during the Golden Tourism Week, which will run from December 24th to 30th.
Accordingly, tourists can use a single ticket to visit the Royal Palace, Khai Định Tomb and Minh Mạc Tomb to enter other monuments that require tickets. Meanwhile, a group of 10 visitors will receive a 20% discount for visiting the sites, and those enjoying Nhã Nhạc concerts at Viet Theatre will receive half-price tickets. The center will hold a ceremony to greet the 2 millionth visitor to the Huế relic site this year, and the 30 million visitors since it was recognized as a World Cultural Heritage in 1993 by UNESCO. On the occasion, awards will be presented to 3 outstanding tourist agencies which have brought the most visitors to the site. A conference will also be held on the sidelight of the week to review the operation of the tourism services at the site. From January to November, the center receives more than 1.8 million visitors, including nearly 846,000 international ones, generating $6.1 million in pre-tax revenue, exceeding the yearly target by 3.77%.
And that has wrapped up our today's program. Thanks for watching and see you next time.